Hidden deep below Iraq is the world's largest remaining onshore oil field, WQ-2. One Russian oilman has dreamt about developing this field for 20 years.
Конечно, я никогда не мог забыть тот масштаб запасов нефти, который находился в Ираке, и материалы, по которым мы были в компании «Лукойл».
Extracting this oil is the greatest challenge ever faced by oilfield workers. One of the most hostile working environments on the planet. The crews struggle with sandstorms, leaks of deadly gas,
You cannot feel how it feels, you know.
and thousands of tons of unexploded bombs. But the greatest challenge of all is time. They have to lay hundreds of kilometers of pipelines, build a refinery, tank farm and power station, drill 500 wells, all within 14 months.
И это была такая гонка со временем, это как быстрые шахматы.
– 6:30 a.m. Baghdad International Airport. Mr. Alik Perov and Mr. Kazayev from Lukoil have come to Baghdad to meet Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki to discuss the development of the biggest oil field in the world. This is the start of a new chapter in the long history of oil production in Iraq.
Deep below the desert sand, nature has created a vast reservoir of the precious oil urgently needed to drive the wheels of the world's industries.
Ever since oil was discovered in Iraq, Western oil companies have dominated production.
After years of exploring and research, the field was discovered by engineers of the Basra Petroleum Company.
But this was majority owned by British and American oil companies and protected by British troops.
The oil starts to flow.
The Iraqi government promised the people that they would see the benefit from their oil.
They will pour wealth into Iraq, which will enable the building of hospitals and schools and the promotion of social schemes which will help the peoples of the country to a better life.
But the people never got a dollar.
Oil in Iraq's history has been a source of suffering for the Iraqi people, simply because its revenues has been used by dictators to build their war machinery, to attack the Iraqi people and attack Iraq's neighbors and leave the country in total ruin.
In 1968, Saddam Hussein seized power. Nationalising the oil industry, he threw out the British and American oil companies. He then turned to the east and invited Soviet oil men to come to southern Iraq to develop his oil fields. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, relations between Saddam and the Soviet oil ministry blossomed. One of the ministers involved was Russia's most legendary oil man and now president of Lukoil, Mr. Alik Perov.
Я впервые побывал в Ираке, это в 1989 году, когда был заместителем министра нефтяной промышленности Советского Союза. Я посетил наши объекты в Ираке, потому что я отвечал за добычу нефти. И, конечно, меня поразило вот этот масштаб запасов нефти на территории Республики Ирак.
In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Mr. Alik Perov, together with other veterans of the Soviet oil industry, established Lukoil.
Это наши руководители Алик Перов, Маганов, Кукур, это все те, кто прошел Западную Сибирь. Западную Сибирь еще в советское время. Они приходили в тундру, приходили в тайгу, в леса, где ничего не было, и строили города, создавали нефтяную промышленность Советского Союза.
Mr. Alik Perov continued his interest in Iraq. One of Saddam's oil fields was of particular interest, the vast West Kurna field situated near Basra. Mr. Alik Perov entered into negotiations with Saddam Hussein to develop the field.
То есть Ирак был в непростой ситуации. Очень тяжелые переговоры были. Нам потребовалось 3 года для того, чтобы выйти на подписание контракта.
Lukoil had exclusive rights to develop West Kurna and received a share of its estimated 40 billion barrels of oil.
Алик Перов был очень вдохновленный именно потому, что удалось подписать соглашение о Западной Курне-2.
A team of Russian oilmen went to West Kurna to drill exploratory wells. But before they could complete these, Saddam unexpectedly invaded Kuwait. And the UN imposed trade sanctions.
Эмбарго, международный эмбарго не дал возможность нам начать реализацию этого проекта. Да, мы просто не начали реализацию проекта.
The Russian oil men left Iraq. Saddam was enraged.
В наказание за это Саддам Хусейн в начале 2000-х годов принял решение в одностороннем порядке разорвал отношения с Лукойлом по реализации данного проекта.
As soon as Saddam Hussein was removed from power, Mr. Alik Perov returned to Iraq.
Как только был назначен вице-премьер господин Шахристани, мы сразу, я прилетел в Багдад, встретился, и мы пытались реанимировать старый наш контракт.
I told them at that time, as far as the Iraqi laws were concerned, the company didn't really have any claim against the Ministry of Oil.
Правительство Ирака заняло очень жесткие позицию, что все контракты, подписанные в период Саддама, они не имеют юридическую силу.
By this time, Lukoil is the biggest oil company in Russia, with holdings in Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Colombia, Venezuela, Romania, and Vietnam. At his headquarters, he established a special team to ensure they could recover the rights to develop West Kurna.
Был назначен конкретный человек, отвечающий за этот проект, господин Кузяев.
Дело в том, что мы, как я уже сказал, создали специальную команду, которая готовилась. Это была команда, которая была изолирована от всех. Она не имела права ни с кем общаться и работала только внутри и напрямую подчинялась высшему руководству Лукойла.
Meanwhile, in Iraq, the government introduced a new constitution that specifically safeguarded their most vital natural resource.
حقيقة الدستور العراقي أشار بشكل واضح إلى أن النفط الخام وكل المعادن ملك لكل الشعب العراقي، بمعنى أنه لا أحد يمتلك السلطة لإعطاء أي حصة من هذا النفط لأي جهة.
After years of war and dictatorship, only oil revenue could rebuild Iraq's shattered economy.
بالنسبة للعراق بالتأكيد الاقتصاد العراقي الآن يعتمد بشكل أساسي على النفط وإيرادات النفط، يعني تقريبا 97% من الإيرادات تأتي من النفط، بمعنى كل برامج البلد وإعادة الإعمار يعتمد بشكل أساسي على الإيرادات النفطية.
But to get oil flowing quickly requires the expertise and finance of international oil companies. However, most Iraqi politicians want nothing to do with these companies because they don't want to lose ownership of their oil. To resolve this dilemma, Dr. Shahrastani proposes a new form of contract.
We made a number of key decisions. One was that these are going to be developed based on service contracts. The ownership of the Iraqi oil is going to be for the Iraqi people.
This means that oil companies will be paid a fee for extracting oil, but Iraq will receive 100% of the income from its sale on the world market. Under these conditions, in 2004, the Iraqi government invited international oil companies to bid for the rights to develop their oil fields. In 2009, the contract was offered for West Kurna 2. For Lukoil, this is the moment they're waiting for.
Алик Перов нас нацелил на то, чтобы мы должны выиграть Мы должны создать высококонкурентный консорциум, и мы должны победить в этом тендере на западную Курну-2.
Lukoil recruits the Norwegian state-owned company Statoil as the junior partner in their consortium. Mr. Kazayev and his team fly into Iraq. They are determined to win the biggest prize of all, WQ-2.
Мы видели в этом не только вопрос заработать денег, но и вопрос исторической справедливости.
On the 31st of May 2009, representatives of 30 international oil companies gather at Iraq's Ministry of Oil to publicly submit their bids. Now, whoever offers the lowest fee per barrel to extract the oil will win. One by one, each company representative walks onto the stage and submits their bid.
Стоит стеклянный куб, и ты выходишь на сцену и опускаешь туда конверт, и все видят, что в этом кубе никаких других конвертов нет.
The rival companies have all made their offers. As the deadline approaches, Mr. Kazayev submits Lukoil's bid.
Мы сделали предложение 1.15. Потом все компании, когда опустили заявки, соответственно, министр нефти достает этот конверт, открывает его, прикладывает к компьютеру, и сразу же на экране видно, что написано на заявке. И это сразу же попадает в таблицу, так вскрываются все заявки, и компьютер присуждает, кто занял первое место.
Lukoil won the contract for WQ-2 by bidding 10 cents per barrel less than their closest competitor.
Lukoil scored the highest score.
Мы знали, что мы выиграем, потому что мы сделали самую сумасшедшую заявку.
Contract was awarded on the spot.
То, что мы победили, это была победа не только Лукойла, но и России. Потому что это было возвращение России на Ближний Восток и в Ирак.
Lukoil and Statoil will invest $25 billion to develop WQ-2. To make a profit on a fee of just $1.15 per barrel, they need to get the oil flowing by November 2013. However, the start of drilling is delayed by 2 years. This is how long it takes to finalise access to the land.
The field was cultivated by Iraqi farmers who refused to surrender their lands, and this has taken some time, so it wasn't really available.
Впервые крестьяне получили компенсацию в Ираке, за всю историю получили компенсацию из правительственной казны для потери их сельхозугодий, которые необходимо были перевести в промышленные земли.
Lukoil dispatched a team of people to the West Kurna region to conduct negotiations with local landowners. This is Adnan Shuba. He's a local Iraqi who works for Lukoil. It's his job to broker the deals for compensation with farmers and tribespeople.
Every color is a different tribe, about 25 tribes in this area. So we have to deal with all these people. All companies have trouble with the tribe. Everyone comes and said, this is my land. Until now, 600 people receive money, about $100 million.
В период Саддама их просто выселяли, и все. Здесь было сделано все цивилизованно. Люди получили то вознаграждение, на которое они рассчитывали.
Every claim needs to be investigated. Landowners are given GPS devices to measure the lands. "30 minutes later, he returns with the boundaries of his land mapped out. The coordinates of the route are uploaded to a computer. There's a problem. According to the record, some of this land belongs to a neighbour.
قاعد هذا خبر على اللي على الصف. اي خليه يعبر.
اي راح انا من اخذ بالدائره
إيه.
راح استخرج الاحداثيات واعملها تعديلات وهم قالوا احنا ربما اخطانا.
The farmer is adamant he knows the borders of his own land.
احنا نسولف وانتم تسولفون غير تفصيليا مسقط راس صار لي 12 سنه ازرع هنا عندها شبر.
Whether the landowner has walked into his neighbour's land deliberately or by mistake, compensation for this additional land is worth a huge amount of money.
The extra part worth about 20 million dinar. It's a very big number. About more than $60,000.
With an average income in Iraq of $6,000 per year, this is a life-changing amount of money. Adnan doesn't confront the landowner now. He knows that if he does, he might be threatened, as this has happened repeatedly before.
Killing us, threats by verbal, by phone, by directly threats. But here in this area, everybody have a backup, his tribe. No one can walk in this area without big tribe with him.
But Adnan isn't scared. His tribe is as big as any other.
I have a big tribe near corner. They have another tribe, so they balance the power of threats between me and them. So I don't afraid to threat their threats. It's not easy to walk here in this area alone, without backup.
The compensation issue will be resolved later by the tribal sheikhs. The delays in gaining access to the land has had one adverse consequence. Statoil has left the consortium. Now Lukoil have to bear the costs and risks of developing the oil field alone.
Мы с уважением относимся к решению Статойла выйти из этого проекта. Мы, конечно, о нем сожалеем. Вместе нам бы работалось гораздо легче.
September 2012. An advanced team of oil workers travelled to the oil field. They faced the biggest challenge of their careers. After the delay, there is now just 14 months for them to reach first oil. First oil is a specific production target.
И второй момент. Драйвером данного проекта является именно время. Чем быстрее мы получим первую нефть, тем проект экономически эффективнее.
This is a monumental challenge. In just 14 months, they must build a central processing facility that will remove impurities from the oil, a gas turbine power plant to provide electricity for the entire project, a 102-kilometre-long export pipeline to export the oil, a tank farm to hold the oil, and drill 528 oil wells.
Специально пригласили консультантов опытных недавно в наш проект для того, чтобы они оценили вообще состояние проекта и возможность завершения в те сроки, которые мы наметили. Это будет мировой рекорд.
The only way that Lukoil can achieve this world record of getting to first oil in just 14 months is by implementing a controversial plan known as simultaneous operations.
И мы приняли решение, что мы часть процессов должны сделать параллельно, чтобы каждый день, который мы можем получить для себя, мы использовали. Также мы поручили параллельно строить и электростанцию, и трубопровод, и резервуарный парк.
Normally these projects will be done consecutively. Building them all at the same time is high risk.
Другого варианта у нас не было. У нас был только вариант принять этот риск, если мы хотим реализовать данный проект за такое короткое время, или отказаться от этого проекта.
The task is made even more difficult because West Kurna 2 stands on land that has been a battleground during the Iran-Iraq War and both Gulf Wars. The ground is littered with unexploded bombs, shells and mines, all of which need to be cleared before any construction can begin. So Lukoil have brought in specialist teams to remove the ordnance. Their task is vital.
To make sure that the people that comes after us, the companies that come after us, that they work in a safe environment.
So far, the ordnance removal team have safely extracted 93 tons of deadly weapons. On any other oil field, no drilling or construction would take place until the entire field was cleared of ordnance. As part of simultaneous operations, Lukoil take a different approach. As soon as an area of land is cleared, construction or drilling crews immediately get to work.
Надо сказать, что такой подход несет в себе очень много рисков.
Every day, Alexander receives instructions from Lukoil on which piece of land should be cleared of ordnance.
Дальше, следующий вопрос. Куст 8. Да, завтра начнем. Наши производственники попросили поставить его в приоритет. Вот, и мы просим вас вот, с завтрашнего дня приступить к его размену. За сколько дней вы планируете ориентировочно сделать это?
Да, наверное, 3 дня, нет больше, чем 3 дня.
Плюс идентификация сигнала.
Да, потом.
Давай исходим из того, что как и контрольную таможенную зону, так и этот объект мы заканчиваем к концу следующей недели. К 11 числу. Хорошо.
Alexander anticipates a busy day for his crew.
We're expecting to find a lot of projectiles, grenades, mortars. So this is what they're looking for today.
To clear the land, the deminers take a battery of demining equipment to search for all types of munitions.
هاي ال F3 عندنا نوعين من عندها. واحدة قرص صغير ذيك الماين اكشن يعني الألغام خاصة.
Every worker wears high-grade body armor and checks his colleague before they head out. In this business, you have to trust your buddies.
شغلتنا ما تتحمل غلطة واحدة.
Every day, Safa and the G4S team put their lives on the line to make the oil field safe. The risks are enormous. On average in Iraq, for every 1,000 mines detected, 1 deminer is killed and 2 are injured.
طبعا جاي يفكر بخطورة كلش شديدة ويتعامل ويا الشيء اللي جاي يتعامل وياه هو اختصاصه يعني هذا على الاف 3 هذا الشخص يتعامل ببطء لأن حياته هنا مربوطة بهالمكان هذا.
Explosives are not the only danger to the deminers though. There is also the terrifying threat of chemical weapons.
صار لنا هنا 2 سنين نشتغل تقريبا. ها؟ الخطورة موجودة جاي نلقى ذخائر كلش خطرة وأخطر شيء عندنا اللي هو وايت فسفور. يعني جاي نتعامل ويا ذخيرة كلش خطرة بحيث يعني إذا كانت تعبانة راح تحرق إيدك أو أي شخص ما يلمسها غيري أنا أجي أتعامل وياها وإذا ما أعرفها أخابر على المستر أليكس هو يجي يتعامل وياها.
Scattered throughout the field are remnants of the wells that were begun in the 1980s. Some of these wells are now being completed in order to test the quality of the ore below. The problem is these wells haven't been touched for 30 years, so the crews never know what they're going to find. At this site, the guys have pulled out the old oil well pipes and there is reason for concern.
Here, and this one as well. See, it's corroded. And the tubing body, as you can see, is also corroded, which is not common for a normal well. This is effect of H2S.
H2S is hydrogen sulfide gas. It's colorless, flammable, and extremely poisonous.
H2S is known as one of the most dangerous gases that you can see in the oil field. At certain concentrations, you cannot even feel the gas itself. That you cannot feel how it kills you. You know?
The crew evacuated the rig before the invisible killer gas could escape. It's a costly 3-day delay for Lukoil. In order to get the oil flowing, Lukoil will import 1.5 million tons of equipment. This includes 30 brand new drilling rigs. This rig is being assembled on site. It's a state-of-the-art rig with a self-raising derrick tower. The rig is being erected by the Chinese subcontractor ZPAC under the supervision of the drilling contractor WQ-2. The supervisors check the mast on the ground before it's raised.
What we are looking for is for anything that is loose and that can fall down on someone while the rig is operating.
On a drilling site, the smallest object can be a hazard.
This size knot falling down from the crown will smash somebody on the drill floor. Just imagine you have to explain the family of a guy who got killed on your rig, why and how he got killed, and what you're gonna be saying to his wife and kids.
Every inch of the mast is checked.
But this cut, hook like that, not allowed.
They find too many hazards for it to be raised.
Whatever is not right, whatever is not conforming to the standards, will be replaced before the mast is up.
They leave the riggers to secure the mast. There seems to have been a communication problem. The crew from ZPAC immediately set about raising the mast. Lukoil's health and safety manager, Alexander Disiak, has arrived, and he's not happy that the mast has been raised without following the correct protocol.
The issue is if something critically were to go wrong, who's responsible? Where does responsibility lay?
They will be responsible in this case because in the morning
Who manages these people?
Their rig manager and their area manager as well.
Who manages ZPAC? Who manages these people?
We.
You do.
He tells them to take the mast down and not to raise it again until the correct procedures are followed.
There's a deviation of process. We can't allow this to happen.
On a project driven by schedule, this delay is bad news. As soon as Lukoil won the contract, they established the project HQ in Dubai. From here, 800 employees manage all aspects of the West Kona project.
Я просто хочу, у меня есть такая пословица, любой бизнес начинается со столов и стульев. Здесь была та же самая ситуация.
At the heart of the office is a state-of-the-art drilling control room, from where all drilling operations are coordinated.
Remotely from Dubai, we're supervising and monitoring operations in West Kona 2 field. Currently we have 6 rigs drilling, 1 small rig workover and 5 big rigs, and each rig equipped with cameras which are fitted on catwalk and rotary table, and all the operations are being monitored on 24/7 basis.
Having established their headquarters in Dubai, Lukoil's most vital task now is to oversee the subcontractors who will build the 4 gigantic construction projects on the oil fields. Korean multinational Samsung will build the central processing facility at the heart of the oil field. Turkish engineering giant Enka are building the power plant. Pakistani corporation Techno are constructing the export pipeline, and the French company Entrepose are building the tank farm.
Мы с огромным уважением относимся к нашим подрядчикам. Если бы мы их не уважали, мы бы никогда их не предквалифицировали. Мы их должны взять очень жестко и управлять так, чтобы они достигали те цели, которые они обещали сделать. Мы должны лучше их знать проект.
The biggest construction project of all is the Central Processing Facility. Designed in South Korea, the components are being built in Korea, Japan, the USA, Italy, France, and the UAE. Before this equipment arrives on site, the ground needs to be stabilised with 13,000 concrete piles. Each one of these needs to be driven into the ground by specialist machines. But finding equipment in Iraq is a constant struggle.
The state of equipment in Iraq is quite difficult to source because you're up against other companies around the area, Shell, Petronas, all these companies are reaping the plant equipment and the resources for that. So we have to expedite it and ensure we get hold of it.
Worse still, the machines they do have keep breaking down.
Came in here. Yeah, this one pilot is broken, and this one here we held for operations for a safety because it's broken.
To finish this project on time, each pile driving machine needs to hammer in 35 piles per day. Scott now only has 4 out of his 5 working, so he's looking at a 20% delay. That amounts to 2 months. He needs to find a solution, fast.
The mitigation strategy is that we move piling tech away and bring Alamco in. Hence tonight we've got 1 more machine arriving, and then it will be slowly staggered machines will arrive. 5 more, I think.
In this oil field, there's no room for sentimentality. To achieve his targets, Scott immediately replaces one contractor with another to ensure the work can continue unrelentingly. Lukoil will need up to 10,000 workers to complete this project. Their safety is paramount. It's one of the most dangerous places in the world. Sectarian, religious and criminal violence is a daily reality. The man responsible for security is former 3-star General Vladimir Fedorov.
Our main task to protect our personnel in the first place, as well as, of course, our production technical facilities.
Vladimir has vast experience of working in the region.
I spent something around 20 years in the Middle East, and I can speak Arabic fluently. I know traditions, personalities, and other things in Arabic world. It very much helps me to make and maintain good relations with Iraqis.
Lukoil employees live in a secure compound known as the pilot camp. The pilot camp is surrounded by a 20-foot concrete wall, a barbed wire top fence with a bank of CCTV cameras and motion detectors. There is only one principal entrance and exit to the camp.
This is the entry control point to the pilot camp. The sole entry to the pilot camp. We process the vehicles, the pedestrians, gas contractors, subcontractors, SOC members, government officials, and Lukoil members, all of them are coming this way. We're checking for the items that are prohibited, like alcohol, like drugs, or ammunition, weapons, explosives.
There are currently 170 workers living here on a permanent basis. Here they eat, relax and work together, sheltered from the elements. This is vital because of the extreme climatic conditions in Iraq. Raging sandstorms, flash floods, howling desert winds and temperatures regularly in excess of 50 degrees are a daily reality. The highlight of their day is mealtime. So the people responsible for feeding the workers have a crucial job. Not only must the food be tasty, it needs to be nutritious too.
Temperatures can get up to the late 50s over here, and with that being the case, the amount of fluids and all the byproducts that you as an individual lose, that is why we in general, we try to serve a food product that is high in essential nutrients.
With 170 mouths to feed, there needs to be a constant supply of fresh food. But getting supplies to the kitchen is not always easy.
Considering that we're in the middle of the desert, first and foremostly, it takes a lot to bring the food in. Our daily usage over here, we'll use anything from 40 to 60 kilos of meat products, up to 30-40 kilos of rice a day. That's all dependent on how our day has been set out for us.
The amount of calories I consume, for sure, it keeps my brain working faster and more efficient. We're always ready for action. So even at night time, so you wake me up, I'll be ready in like 2 minutes time.
The workers' living space is secure, but the task of making their work site safe is ongoing. On the oil field, the explosive removal team are using specially trained German shepherds to sniff out explosives. Almost immediately, the dog marks the spot where there is a buried explosive. They clear the area. And Fardik Ali, a specialist deminer, comes in to investigate. He confirms the precise location of the explosive with a narrow beam metal detector. He digs a pit next to the metal object to approach it from the side. And then carefully uses a brush to get a closer look. The slightest false move and the bomb could explode. Fardik reveals a cluster bomb and signals for the area to be cordoned off. This bomb will need to be specially removed and detonated by the Iraqi army. This kind of work is extremely dangerous and puts a lot of lives at risk. Progress is slow, but Lukoil are in a hurry, and they might have found a solution. They are road testing this latest in demining safety tech, the Freeland 3000. This $750,000 monster truck can clear a square mile of minefields in 20 minutes. It uses metal chains to detonate all bombs in its path. The driver is protected by 12-inch thick armour plating. Progress is fast and furious.
We are the only company, we have this machine all around the world. And this has reduced the risk for the people who's working in this action. This machine is reducing the working up to the 50 main work.
If it can survive the minefields of Iraq, the Freeland 3000 could revolutionise demining by saving lives, cutting costs and clearing land much faster than any of the old methods. To drill 528 oil wells with just 30 rigs, Lukoil have devised a plan. Each rig will drill multiple wells from the same location. These are known as clusters. On cluster 5, drilling is already underway, but there's a problem. Alexander Disek arrives at cluster number 5, where there's a problem.
We're approaching the rig, as you can see behind front of me here.
At this rig, the drill has hit an unexpectedly hard seam of rock. The last section of the drill pipe has shattered and sheared off. Work has come to a standstill. Before drilling can resume, the shattered drill pipe needs to be removed from the hole. This process is known as fishing.
We have fishing tools on board right now, and right now we're going to attempt to pull the rest of the remaining pipe out of the hole.
To fish the drill pipe out of the hole, the crew attach a hook to the end of the drill and send it back down 500 meters below. They try and recover the shattered metal and bring it back to the surface. Fishing is a dangerous procedure because if the drill pipe slips from the hook, it could rupture the well, releasing highly pressurized and flammable balls of gas that could easily engulf the entire rig.
It's very dangerous around the rig because when they start pulling the pipe, anything can happen.
This job goes on throughout the night. It's a 5-day delay for the drill crew. Today, Lukoil Overseas President Andrei Kazayev is in Dubai to sort out the mounting delays. The drillers in Iraq have been called for an emergency video conference.
Сегодня очень критическая стадия по реализации проекта, связанной с бурением. Мы не попадаем в график, у нас очень существенные отставания. Ваша задача выйти на плановые показатели в максимально короткие сроки и обеспечить своевременную подготовку мощностей для планового начала добычи.
The drillers are left in no doubt of what is expected of them. The next day, Alexander decides to take action. He has a long list of issues to resolve with the drilling managers. And he's determined to get some results.
My objective right now is to make sure that we can have a successful long-term project by holding these people accountable to what their contractual obligations will be.
Alexander marches into the manager's office and gets straight to the point.
A large part of the inconsistencies that are adding up to near misses, issues on the rig, are the fact that you've got guys that are working out there 3 months on straight with 1 month holiday.
We are aware about that.
Alexander believes that in the rush to produce oil, the drilling crews are being overworked and are making mistakes.
My expectation would be that if that's an issue, then you need to fix that.
Of course, yeah.
And I understand it takes time, but however, you know, time is moving forward, and we have certain production schedules that we have to meet. How serious are you going to take this? Because I've explained to you what the problem is with the process of non-communication previously, because this is what's adding up to a lot of issues with us.
There is no excuse. We don't accept any excuse.
Okay.
It's been a tough meeting. They need to get their act together, quickly. It has been 2 weeks since Mr. Kazayev spoke to the drillers, and there has been progress. On Cluster 7, drilling supervisor Mahmoud El Feki and his crew are about to complete their first well.
For the operation right now, it's quite okay. It's acceptable, yes. People working a little bit faster than before.
To complete the well, they need to line it with cement. But before they can do this, they must test the integrity of the pipe to ensure that it can withstand the pressure it will have to bear when the cement flows. Tensions are high. Now they are so close to completion, no one wants anything to go wrong.
Open the rope! Open the rope, and beat up! Break up!
The drill crew attach a high-pressure water pump to the end of the pipe. They start forcing water through the pipe and gradually increase the pressure.
Go ahead, 42. 42 strokes, 560 baseline.
By increasing the strokes of the pump, the pressure on the pipe increases. At every stage, they check the integrity of the pipe structure. So far, so good. so they crank the pressure up higher.
So we need to increase. 45.
45.
Yes.
As the pressure rises, so does the tension among the crew. They know if the pipe can withstand the pressure, they can pour the cement and complete their task on schedule. If the pressure is too great, the entire well will be destroyed.
More. Oh, stop. 46.
The pressure holds steady. And that means the pipe is good. This is great news for the crew.
Around 5 days, we should be finished the well.
The crew drilling the historical wells are also back on track. They have reached the oil reservoir and conducted their initial tests. Ernest Sayapov can now finally assess the quality of the oil. But he's never seen results like these.
Each of these wells is worth 40 Siberian wells.
This means the crews have hit pay dirt. Not only is there huge amounts of oil underground, but the crude itself is incredibly sweet, high-quality oil. With results like these, they can expect to stay in Iraq for a very long time.
Right now, I'd say that we have some good future here in the field. Lukoil is going to have a very good future here.
This is good news, because for Lukoil and their employees, the stakes are huge.
Если реализация проекта окажется успешной, а она окажется успешной, Лукойл войдет в круг компаний, которые могут реализовывать крупные капитальные проекты с 10 миллиардами инвестициями, с десятками миллиардов инвестиций.
Но самое главное, что мы в срок выполняем свои обязательства.
It's now October 2012. The crew have managed to build 6 rigs, complete 1 new well, and they have inserted 800 piles. They are already behind schedule by 2 weeks. If they are to reach first oil by November 2013, they will need to get back on schedule fast.
Я был уверен, что мы с этой задачей справимся. Как в Ираке говорят, иншаллах.
In the next episode, the race is on to get back on schedule.
You put your attention on this area. Yes. Okay, that's good. But you forgot about others.
Management are challenged by inexperienced crew.
Bring it back! They can't come up! You're crazy!
And delays mount when equipment gets stuck in the port.
Your inspector is sitting here without any welding tools.
On top of that, they need to keep their contractors on track.
Talk it through, find out what the answer is, and make it happen.